Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another Journaling on a Budget. Today we are going to get some of the items that we've made into our journal, and we need to decorate the pages up that we are going to do that on. So the first thing I wanted to do, I made another stencil, and so I just wanted to, in case you missed the last video, just show you how I did this. And this will be really quick. I'm not actually going to make a stencil, but this is a regular piece of copy paper, and all you do is fold it so that you wind up with a square. So you're just going to bring one top corner over to the opposite edge, line it up nice and neat, and then just fold that. Okay, so now if we cut right along this line, we are going to wind up with a square. Now you don't have to make your stencil square. As a matter of fact, you know, like if you want to make it round or something, you can just cut it round and then go ahead and make your stencil and it will be round. So let's just do this kind of quick. I hadn't really thought about it. So I'm just going to fold that in half just like we did when it was a square, and then fold it again just like that. And then to actually kind of make this all the same, I'm just gonna cut this so that it's even. Does that kind of make it round? Yeah, okay, cool. Alrighty, and then what you do is you cut on all of your folded edges, but well, you can cut on the top edge, but it's just going to give you whatever you cut at that top edge, that's going to be your decoration. So if we just kind of do like this, this will go all the way around our circle, and the outside edge will look like that. And then you're just going to cut, and when you cut your stencil, because you want to have the whole thing filled in, you're going to want to cut some that go all the way to the center. And then I'm just going to do this really quick, and we'll open it up and just kind of see what a circle looks like, because I really had not thought of this. So we'll just do it quick, because the whole reason that I did this was to show you the long one. And again, just make sure that you kind of go all the way to the center. Now I put all of my cuts on this side, so I've got nothing going on here. That would not be a good thing. So let's get a little something in there, or there'd be a big blank spot when you unfold it. Well, that didn't work. So make sure that you cut on all of your folds. And then again, if you want something right in the middle, you can use an X-Acto knife or a punch or something to go ahead and get something towards the middle. But then when you unfold it, so there we go. That actually turned out really pretty cool. I'm going to keep that. I like it. So, okay, so there you go. You can make round ones even like the square ones. And then what I wanted to show you was with this piece, I made a stencil out of my long one the last time when I showed you, but I really wanted a really nice border stencil. So what I did was, so that I had more folded sides, I folded it in half the long way, so that I had this whole long folded side, and it was going to make it so that I could have something, because the fold is where you get your whatever, your pattern from. So now I can have a pattern all the way down the full length of my, let's see, and then how did I do that? And then I just folded it in half, and then folded one side back, and folded the other side back the other way, so that now we had more folded space to go ahead and cut a nice long stencil. And so I did that, and then I cut it out, whoops, like this. Okay, so then we're going to unfold that. So we've got the two sides that we folded back. We folded it in half, and even all by itself, this looks pretty cool. I actually really like that, and it's nice and thin. Or open it up. Ooh, and I like how the stars turned out. I kind of tried to do a little like a starburst, and so that looks great too. So I can actually use it that way, or I can fold it in half and I can use it this way if I want a thinner stencil. So I just wanted to show you, because the one that I showed you that was long like this last time was very plain, and I just was trying to think how I could get something in the middle, and I realized if I folded it the long way first, that would give me a nice long area. Okay, so let's see. I've gone through my big old bucket of things that I've been making, and just chose some things. So I'm not sure exactly where they are. We're just going to kind of flip through this really quick and try and get to a spot where I had found something I wanted to add. Okay, so here we have, this was week 37. We made the little wonky houses, and I thought that they might be cute along the edge here. And we also, on week 42, we made giant tickets. And so I have some giant tickets here that I thought would be really cute to tuck into the little wonky houses. And then in our Build Your Stash and Craft series, we made stamps to make our own wonky houses, rubber stamps or foam stamps. And I had made this little pocket with just a little journaling card in it, and I thought that that would be really cute to put on the other side. So but you know, when looking at this, if we put this in here and we put our little tickets in there, we've got a really plain spot over here. And so what I want to do is I want to put some decoration on that, and that's why I did this stencil. So now I'm going to grab my board and put the board in behind here. And then just line this up. Now you can also just tape these down with some masking tape so that they don't move on you. And I'm going to stencil this one right in here, and I'm going to, let's see, we've got this color, and then our tickets. We've got a lot of blue going on here. Thinking about trying it in purple. Maybe a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue mixed together. So, because I think the purple might just be too much if I do the whole thing in purple. I don't know. So I just have purple. I think this is grape or something. Dusty Concord Distress ink. And I did have some comments about you can make these sturdier by painting them with Mod Podge or with water glue. And you can do that. Possibly if you paint them with Mod Podge or water glue, because it's water-based, when you go to use it, your inks or your paints might make that get sticky, because Mod Podge is water-based and so is water glue. And so if you don't want it to get sticky and you have something like one of the, I can't even think of the name of it now, but the other types of like the clear gels, like matte mediums and that type of thing, if you have some that are not water-based, then I think those would work better, because then when you put something water-based on top of it, it's not going to get sticky. So I don't use Mod Podge very often because it really does get sticky, and sometimes it just stays sticky. And you can put powder or something on top of it to help it not be sticky, like baby powder. But I just prefer water glue because it doesn't stay sticky. But I think if you got it wet, it would get sticky again. So I'm just going to go through this, and we'll do it all in purple, and then we'll see if maybe we need to do a little blue with it. And just take your time when you're stenciling. So you don't want to, I'll move this up a little bit. You don't want to go to all the trouble of getting as far as you are and then really make a mess of your stencil. But you can always fix it. You know, if you wind up getting a spot, and with your ink, so long as you go up and down and don't let your stencil move, you won't have much problems. With paint, if your sponge has a little too much paint on it, which is very easy to do, is get too much paint on it. When you go to stencil it down like that, your paint will squash off your sponge and go underneath your stencil, unless you have a stencil that has a sticky back on it. So you just have to make sure that you try and have your sponge, you put it in your paint, and then you pat it off somewhere before you get to your stencil. And that way you won't have too much paint and it won't go under your stencil. If you'll notice, if you ever have a problem where your stencil has a big blotchy spot, that's where you started when you first got your paint on your sponge and you started to do the stenciling. 90% of the time it's going to be that's where you started because you had too much paint on, and as you went along and went further along, you got much crisper lines, and that's because you had already taken some of that paint off of your sponge by doing the other parts. So, but with ink, it's more a matter of just keeping your stencil still and not letting it move. And then we're going to see what this looks like, because you never know what a stencil is going to look like. At least I can't ever really figure it out, because it looks exactly the opposite of what you're looking at as far as the paper goes. So let's see. Here's the reveal. Oh, I like it. I like that a lot. And the purple wasn't too much. I was thinking the purple would be really, really dark. And it's even darker from what you're seeing than from what I'm seeing. It's actually a nice light background. And so now I want to see if I put this on here. Do I think that this is too big of a gap? Because if I do, I can just line my stencil up with this and do a little more. Excuse me. Now, one thing, I might as well do this because I'll show you. All right. You have to make sure that your stencil is still the same way that you had it. But because we had folded this in half when we did all of our cutting, all of these bits here that are on the edge, they're all in exactly the same spot. So if I take this and I move it over, you've made yourself a continuous stamp is what you've done, or a continuous stencil. All you have to do is move it over and line it up. And then when you go down there, and you have to make sure that when you do it, you know, the first time, well, and the second time too, but that you go right to the edge of your paper, but don't go off the edge. And this is a little bit, I need to turn my book. I'm going to turn it like this so that it's easier for me to just get to that edge. Okay, line it back up. And I think I'll come out this far. And just line it, whoops, I just moved the whole thing. Just line it right up with the edge of your stencil, making sure that it's all lined up. And if you do this, it should match, and it's just matching because of the way that you cut it. I know the page is getting in your way, but I don't want to let go. I can do it with that hand. Should have brought a clip. When you're working in your book, clips work really well to clip back the pages that you don't want in your way. Okay, so this is what we have. See how these patterns repeated, how they lined up and you could repeat them, and they touched each other. See how they, And then here we didn't have anything in the middle. We hadn't cut on the edge, so there's nothing right there. And here they all lined up. The little diamond, it was just a half of a diamond. And all of those lined up. And you can continue. You could do this. I could do the whole stencil like this here. And again and again and again. And they will line up. And you will have this in the middle. You know, and that will, your pattern will repeat. So, you know, just remember that it works like that also. Okay, I really like that. I hadn't thought of that either until I just had it here. And I'm going to put this guy right here, and I'm just going to glue him barely on the bottom and the side so that I can tuck in. But I'm trying to think. I'm going to edge the page first because it'll be easier to edge it right now. I think maybe I have some washi tape here, and I'm thinking, because I did this in purple, I'm going to edge it in purple. Here we go with the color again. I guess I can never make up my mind exactly. But I think this does look much better with the purple than it would with the brown. What was I saying? I don't know. Because I told you to remember something, and now I forgot. Oh, no, I was telling you. I was thinking about maybe putting some washi tape on here. Because my little houses are not quite long enough. And I thought that that would look kind of pretty. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that edged. We're going to put this on here, and I did bring over some washi tape, and I'm going to use this blue and purple one. That will be perfect. I got this washi tape on clearance for $3.99, but then I got it on 70, I think it was 70% off or 50% off. So it was actually a very good price. If you keep your eyes open for really good prices, and washi tape lasts forever, so you don't really need a ton of it, but we all wind up collecting a ton of it, so try and use it if you have a bunch of it in your stash. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac just because it's quick, like I always say, but tacky glue works just as well. So I'm just getting barely on the edge because this is very short, so I don't want to glue too much of it. And then on this side, even though I'm going to put washi tape on the edges, I still want glue on the edges. Put the lid back on so that it doesn't squash out the top. And then I'm going to put it just on top of this blue that comes up the page, because I just think that's kind of cute. There we go. Squish that to the outside. Let it dry for a second and you can rub it off very easily. And push this down. Okay. And then I have these 3 tickets that I had made. Oh, yeah, they're still here. And I just had like one of those rubber stamps that you turn it, and so I just put some random numbers on there and a little bit of punchinella, you know, with the same distress colors. So that's what I did with this, and I think maybe we'll at some point we'll find something to put on them. And there's journaling space on the back, and then those will fit right in there. And I like that. I think that's cute. So I'm going to kind of slide them out just a little bit. I don't want them to get glued into my house, so I'm going to give that time to glue. And I'll come back and put those in later. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of this washi tape. I'm going to cut the edge because I do want it to be straight. And I'm just going to put one little piece right here. I'm not sure if I want the purple next to the houses or the blue. I'm going to cut it shorter and turn it around and then see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'm just trying to see. I think I like the purple next to the house so that the blue is on the outside edge. And there we go. Just put that on there. And I don't think I want to put it across the bottom because I want the bottom to have that blue on there, but I just thought it really was needed on the edges. So just cut another little piece right here. Turn it around so that the blue's on the outside. Oh, I didn't even have to wipe off that glue because we're putting the tape over top of it. And this washi tape sticks very well. I got that a little bit long. So I don't glue it down. If you have some washi tape that does not stick, then you'll want to glue it down. And a lot of times you can tell by the feel of the tape if it's going to stick or not. And if you're just not sure, just go ahead and glue it down. Doesn't hurt a thing. So there we go. We got the washi tape there. And our little pocket here. And then, hold on, I'm going to grab some flowers. Do we want flowers or do we want birds? I think maybe flowers because we've got the little house there and everything. I think that flowers would go good. And so we need some to put. Let's set the book aside for a second. And here's our 3 tickets. And let's see what we've got for flowers. This one is really tall. And I don't want to cut off all of that foliage on the bottom. So we'll set it there in case we need to. Do we need to do purple and blue or should we do a contrasting color? This is where I wish you guys could actually talk to me. Ooh, that's kind of cute. Oh, I kind of like that one. Okay, let's see here. This one's too big. Oh, you can't really see what I'm doing. Let's see. So the other one had a planter on the bottom. And so I think that I should either do, that's pretty too, either the planters or the not planters. The pot. It has a pot on the bottom. That one's too big. I'd have to cut too much off of that one. That one's too big. Oh, that one's a little bit too big, but I really like it. I'll leave that one out for now. That one's definitely too big. It's nice to have such a variety. Do we want to put a little pink in there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Let's leave that one out. That one's too big. It's really nice to have the variety. And, sitting down, a lot of people say, oh, fussy cutting. I can't stand a fussy cut. But, just sit down and relax in the evening and just fussy cut while you're relaxing. Don't think about how many did I get done because it does take a while. But just sit down and just enjoy the process instead of thinking, oh, I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. I didn't hardly cut any out. The whole point is just like having a nice time with it and enjoying yourself while you're doing it. So, that's the whole thing about even making a journal. We've been working on this journal for how long? Quite a long time. And the thing is that it's just now starting to get done, but I've enjoyed doing it the whole time. So, you don't have to get something done quickly, unless you're trying to do a birthday present or something like that you didn't start in time. And I'm going to color these pots, but I don't know if I like them. Let's just look for one more pink one that does not have a pot and see how we do. But yes, it's It's just all about the enjoyment of doing it, not about how fast you get it done. Oops, I don't want to do that in case I want them. Okay, so let's see if we put that one there. And this one here. So bigger ones on the purples. And a smaller one. I like those. I like the way that those look. So that is what we're going to use. And then even just taking your time to decide what it is that you want to put on your tags or whatever it is you're making, if you're making a card or whatever. Just enjoy the process. Okay, so I'm just going to use some glue stick to glue this down. I'm going to come over here off screen because I don't want to get the glue on my paper right here. Normally I glue in magazines that I've kind of looked through and I've gotten all of the pictures out that I want. Then I use the leftover pages as glue pages, and then I don't have to worry about it. So a lot of people, they will use book pages and then they fold them in half and use them as a thick base for tags or cards or whatever. So you can do that too. I've already went through my magazine and got all my photos, then I've used it as a glue book. So I normally don't keep them. I figure that I've, used them enough that it's okay for me to throw away what's left. So there we go. That looks really pretty. I like that one. And I could have inked around the edges of these, but there's a lot of ink going on in color on this page and on these tags. So I don't think that they really needed to. I like the white around the edge of these. It gives it a little bit of, lets it stand off the ticket a little bit and just gives it a little bit kind of fresh and clean because there's so much going on that page. And our last one. And I have to keep moving my ink things because I have glue all over my paper now. That's why I like my magazines, because I really don't like to glue in the exact same spot that I just glued, because I've ripped, like something like this with a thin, I have ripped too many pictures where I've glued in a spot that I've already glued, and then as I'm trying to pick this up after putting glue on it, it sticks and rips, or the glue rips off like part of your color of your picture. So I like to try and do it in different spots. And with your magazines, with your stick glue especially, once you've glued them down, after they've dried, you can usually, if you pull well enough, you can kind of pull them apart because both sides are shiny. And there we go. There are our 3 tickets. I think that those turned out really cute. And I think they're going to look nice in there. So let's see how they look. And I was going to put them in like this when they were just colored, but I think now that we've put the flowers in, I think I'd really like to put them in like this. Now that we put the flowers on, and I think that looks really cute. I think that's a cute page. It gives us journaling spots, it gives us lots of color, lots of little interesting things. So that page is done. This page is a writing page, and we put the little tissue down the edge of it. So this page, I'm going to call that one done also. But I'm going to take these out and just leave them like this until this glue for sure is dry. I hate to stick a tag in there and then I'm trying to get it out later and it will not come out. This page is already done. This is a pocket. We've got our fun little cards, game cards in there. And I like to use game cards that these game cards you can play with in the book, because this game is, you have to figure out what this says. Let me show you. So for this game, you have to read this, and you kind of read it fast and read it close together. No pod den hose for sure. No pod den hose. No pod den hose for sure. I don't know. Nobody knows for sure. The answer's on the other side. So anyways, so these are fun. You know, like game cards are fun in general because I love games. But I like a game card that you can actually put in the book and it actually can kind of be played. Instead of just like, let's say a card from Sorry or something. It's pretty, it's cute, it reminds you of the game, but it's just there. So that's why I like to do those kind of cards. So we've got a tag in this one. And we've got our doily. I wanted to put this bag, that we made these bags, and I wanted to put this on the last page. And we also made the little labels. No, it's not what you call them. And then I have a piece of our paper in here that we also made earlier. That I think we made in journaling, or Build Your Stash and Craft. But we did make the little, whatever you call them, I can't think of it. Now this is going to go on here. But this page definitely needs something. And does it need stenciling? What does it need? We don't need a stencil on everything. I think I'm going to leave that because I really don't know what I want to. Maybe just some pretty scrapbooking paper or something in the back. And it takes care of that section. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Okay, we have got week 22. We made the little film strip. Yeah, like belly bands. And so I wanted to put this in here. And I'm going to put it in with washi tape, top and bottom. And then it will be a belly band tuck spot. But this one I think is going to be easy. Let's see here. I'm going to stop right here, and I will be back because we're at 31 minutes, and I don't want this to run over. So actually, I think we'll just stop right here. We got that one page completely done, and I will find something to put on here before I come back for the next video. But yeah, I think that 30 minutes is long enough, so I just want to make sure that I don't get to the point where I cannot download my video, because if it gets too long, for some reason my computer won't find it from my phone, and I literally have a problem. So, but there we go. I like the way that this page turned out. I think our little wonky houses look cute. I think that our flower tags really turned out gorgeous. And again, our stencil and the fact that it will repeat, which I hadn't even thought of, is great. And you can make round stencils if you want to. Hadn't thought of that either. So thank you very much for stopping by today. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.